Danielle Smith's unconvincing party of Alberta has announced that they're pulling back their ministerial order banning books so that it only covers content that wouldn't have been allowed in libraries to begin with. Sources close to this chicken suggest that this all started because Danielle Smith got really drunk and walked into an adult bookstore, found puppy play accessories, and concluded that she must be in a grade school library. You can suggest that no politician would ever be so incompetent, but if you do, it sounds like you just don't follow Canadian politics. Just a reminder, if you're a straight person, you get to see people like you on TV and in movies often. You get to hear stories about people like you. Now, maybe you belong to a demographic that is still somehow marginalized, and so you have to do a little more work to identify with the people on screen in popular media. For example, there's not a lot of rom-coms that have the leading lady in a wheelchair. I personally realized that I'd never seen a character on TV have a negative reaction to perfume until watching Lessons in Chemistry. Fantastic show, by the way. So I get that queer people aren't the only ones who get left out in the cold, but our love stories, our coming-of-age stories, they are unique. They challenge countless assumptions that straight men and women have about romance. In popular media, we've come a long way from being an occasional plot point in one or two episodes of a sitcom to eventually being characters that everyone kind of always thought something was up with, but it was never confirmed, to eventually being full-on side characters. Just in the last few years, we've even gotten to see a few small-budget movies and TV shows with queer protagonists where we get to see people who are like us both figure out who they are and, in some cases, fall in love. And part of the reason for that is TV shows and movies are expensive. They have multiple writers often. So when queer stories are told on film, they always have to be made with a primarily straight audience in mind. Yeah, the primary audience for nearly all LGBT movies and TV shows with any budget are progressive women and some progressive men. Books have much smaller budgets. Oftentimes, they don't have budgets. A lot of the time, it's just a writer after work or maybe when they're between jobs, hammering away endlessly at a keyboard to get these ideas and experiences out of their soul and onto the page. Sometimes the thing that comes out is a page turner, and then you query an agent and you probably get rejected, but maybe the agent likes it, and maybe they send it off to a publisher, and maybe the publisher likes it. Or, as is common these days, the author goes through all of that jazz and figures out that their book is a little too niche and ends up putting it on some ebook stores. Books are more uniquely important to queer people than a lot of people realize, because books are the way that we get to tell our stories without necessarily having to worry about whether or not they're going to appeal to straight women and men. Now, oftentimes women still love our stories, and that is often great, though sometimes women end up crowding out the voices of gay men in telling stories about gay men, which is a topic that requires far more nuance than we have time for right now. But the fact is, books are important. It's where especially someone who's still in that stage of life, figuring out who they are, they get to take a look and see themselves and put themselves in concert with these characters that they've